Welcome everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that keeps managers up at night and HR teams in constant adaptation mode. It's managing Gen Z in the workplace. Love them or struggle to understand them, there is no denying that they absolutely reshape the way we work, communicate, and even define success. And to help us navigate this generational puzzle, I'm absolutely thrilled to greet our guest, Anna Gushina, Head of Customer Support and expert in leading diverse teams. Anna, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, nice to meet you.
So let's get into it. Anna, every generation comes with its own playbook. Yeah, boomers valued stability, millennials craved purpose. And now we have Gen Z, digital natives who actually grew up on TikTok. They are expecting instant feedback and they aren't afraid to call out so-called corporate cringe, if I can call it this way. Yeah, so 3 out of 4 managers say that Gen Z is the most challenging generation to work with. What are the key conceptual differences in managing Gen Z in comparison with other generations?
Well, I wouldn't say it's such a huge issue to work with Zoomers, to be honest, because there is a lot of negativity around this topic, and many people believe that they are less reliable, less motivated, less interested in their jobs. But in general, I would say that it's not about Zoomers mostly. It's about general situation in the world. So it's just different times, because when we grew up, I'm a millennial, and in my childhood, in my student years, yes, we crave for some goals, purpose. We are really ambitious. We are oriented on our individual goals. We want to be heroes. But Z generation are different in these aspects. But at the same time, this instability and insecurity, it's not the trait of the generation specifically. It's the trait of the modern world, along with technology and this huge development of social media. So we are all there now, and we are all kind of Zoomers now, and that's why we have to learn from them too. But talking about different tactics and strategy in management and business, I think that your strategy depends on your business and the owners of the business, not on your employees. Of course, you need a different communication style. You need use different. You need build processes in a different way. But you are not supposed to change the whole strategy of your business because you have like employees who are 10 years younger than you. I just want to decrease this level of anxiety among managers and owners of a business, because some people, they simply go crazy. They think that, okay, I have Zoomers now, I have to change the whole approach to my business. This is frankly not true.
And Zoomers, what are the key principles of communicating with them while managing them?
There are some specific traits, but I need to warn everyone that each theory has its limitations. Our brain likes like categorization and stereotypes, but we always need to remember that each person is unique, and at the end of the day, you work with a particular person, not with the whole generation. But still, since we were looking for some general understanding, the basic theory is, I think it's Strauss-Howe theory related on these cycles of generations. So we have cycles of 4 generations, and Zoomers are the latest generation in kind of our cycle. There are Zoomers, millennials, Generation X, and boomers. We are all in one cycle. And the authors of this theory, they believe that there are some repetitions. And basically, Zoomers, as the latest generation of our cycle, have some similar traits with the latest generation of the previous cycle. which are so-called silent generation. So if you have a grandmother or a granddad still alive, you're lucky because probably you have inherited a good health. Or else, if you communicate with those people from silent generation somehow, you can mention some specific traits which are very similar to our Zoomers now. And yes, we mentioned they are less ambitious and less oriented on individual goals. There is also a funny fact that till 2020, no one from silent generation has managed to become the president of the United States. So they are likely to be more calm, more oriented to team work. And of course, for millennials, it's very strange because when we start talking about money, career, self-growth, we kind of face this issue that those motivators are not for those guys. And being a manager, we always try to do a very simple thing. We find people's key values and try to connect them with our business goals. That's always the same. For everyone you work with, you need to know something about this person, to find their values and connect them with your goals. Or probably, if there is no match, you just let this person go. It happens. And of course, when we try to find something in Zoomers, we face that they have different motivators. For example, joy and being a part of the team. It's not so important for millennials and even less important for Zoomers, but for them, it's really important. And I cannot say it's a bad thing. Besides, I have to mention that they are more conscious about their feelings and their true feelings. So it's difficult to manipulate them. I hope it's not our style of management, but still, I think everyone does it from time to time. So it's not that easy with Zoomers because you cannot persuade them to do what they are not really interested in. And this also relates to education, to self-growth, and to their work-life balance too.
Can you recall 3 key principles that sometimes are very common within Zoomers?
I think it's joy, as I said, like being happy, enjoy life, and being a part of the team, probably. And also, I think we can mention technology because they are really keen on technology and interested in like the development of this part of their life.
Some representatives of Gen Z can change the workplace within 3 years or like 4 times. Yeah. So from the point of view of a manager, is it actually relevant to plan their personal tracks, their development, and etc. for more than 1.5 years if they change their jobs so rapidly?
The simple answer is no. So there is no point. When you hire someone for any position, basically, some people, they just expect a really fast career growth, especially young people. And you can easily ask them during the hiring process, during the interview. You may say, if you work quite well, how far are you expecting to be promoted? And some people say, I think like 5-6 months. And probably in this situation, you understand that's not your candidate now, because you're going to invest like 3 months in his education. And he starts just bringing profit to a team after 6 months. So you won't be ready to let him go to promote him to some position. So in this case, it's better to mention in the very beginning that you can explain that I'm going to educate you, I'm going to onboard you, I'm going to invest a lot of time and effort and money probably. So I expect that you will be working in this position for like 1.5 years or for 2 years. And you ask directly, what do you think about that? And you don't listen to them anymore. You're just looking at their faces, and then you understand if it's okay for them or not.
Anna, I would like us to return to tactical management, but in a more conceptual way. FYI for our listeners, we'll now consider key functions of tactical management. These are goal setting and task delegation, planning, motivation, control and oversight, training and development of an employee, and decision making. Anna, my question is, how do we adopt these management functions to a generation that values autonomy, feedback, work-life balance, their values, and that actually leans towards life? What about, for example, goal setting and task delegation? Does it differ anyhow from millennials or boomers?
Well, yeah, I think there are some differences. We have talked about goals and motivation, and we mentioned this scheme then that we try to find out some values and connect them with our goals. And of course, tasks you give to a particular person should somehow relate to their motivation if we want them to be interested and enthusiastic, which we want. Because they can perform better in this case. As for delegation, I think that unlike millennials who like to take more responsibilities and show off all the time and being a superstar, I think those guys just need more communication, and they are okay with following scripts and procedures. Mostly, if you don't ask them what would you change in this process, they wouldn't come to you and with like a huge list of suggestions. That's from my experience. But if you kind of motivate them and persuade them to work on some process to come up with ideas, they actually do it quite well.
Speaking about planning with Gen Z, for example, plans for the week, plans for the month,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
some goals within performance review cycle.
Yeah.
Can you please give two key advice to a manager working with Gen Z in this term of planning?
Well, I must admit that there are some difficulties in planning and especially in setting deadlines, because I think some guys, they kind of scared of of that, because as I mentioned, they tend to be afraid of responsibility a little bit. So you always need to explain that you set a deadline, and this is the conversation I had multiple times, that that we need some deadline for a specific task. But at the same time, if in the middle of the task, you understand that it doesn't work for you, you need more time, you need more resources, you cannot do that. You need to stand up and come to me and talk to me that we need to push this deadline. I need more resources. I need more expertise. I need some knowledge. I need help in general. That can be an issue, because somehow they believe that if the deadline is set, it's kind of deadline. So they are obliged to complete the task by that time, and sometimes it demotivates them. And if they struggle in the very beginning, it can lead to the complete failure of the task. So this what I had to explain like many times, that we need deadlines, we need planning, we need measurable results. But that doesn't mean that our goal is just to meet the deadline. We need to complete the task.
So, what is the key advice in terms of control towards Gen Z?
I wouldn't say it's for Gen Z specifically. There is a difference between management and leadership. We manage the results, we manage KPIs, we manage reports, we manage profit. You cannot manage a person, right? Because it's not a part of some machine. You can just lead a person, but at the same time, you need to manage business. That's why if you want to manage your business or your team performance effectively, You need to build a good structure with good reports, with some kind of dashboards, so everyone should understand what are the goals. It should be transparent. This system of control should be transparent for everyone. And in this case, you control not people, you control the result. You manage the result. You shouldn't ask everyone what exactly are you doing in this particular hour, because you have your reports. You can see everything there. You can see the results.
In the very beginning of our interview, you actually mentioned the importance of training and development of learning for Gen Z. How actual is it, in fact? Because I've heard lots of opinions on this topic, starting from there to lazy, getting to something like if they don't have free education at work, they will never work there. So where is the balance? What's the truth?
That can be a huge difference between like people from my generation in comparison with Zoomers. When you develop some education, some training course for your employees, and you know that most of them are Zoomers, it doesn't make any sense to put there a 40-minute lecture. It doesn't work like that. It would be much easier if you divide it to some short pieces, add some gamification, but it works not only for Jay-Z, it works for everyone. If you work with someone, some millennial or a boomer, you can just ask them to go to the library and pick a book and read it, and they can do that. For Zoomers, is just something really strange. If they come for advice and you suggest a book, it's likely that they wouldn't follow the advice. So you can suggest a YouTube video, or you can just explain some basic ideas in person. That would be even better.
I might be wrong, well, frankly saying, but it sounds like they are looking for some prepared decisions for them. I mean, like the answer, the specific advice, some well-structured education at the workplace.
Yeah, definitely. Because they were growing up in a modern world when we have everything by subscription. You can subscribe for self-growth app and it will lead you. There is subscription for clothes. When you pay for subscription and they send you clothes like monthly. You can subscribe for food and it will be developed according to your needs. So they're used to this. And yes, they expect this. We cannot expect from them to be able to build their own system. Some jobs requires a lot of self-study. And I usually ask people during the interview when I hire them, I ask, can you describe the situation that when you had to learn something difficult and new for you in a very short period of time? And how did you do that? And what helped you? What instrument did you use? And a lot of people struggle to answer this question because it was either university when they will lead it from course to course, or that was like a teacher or some kind of an app or subscription. So this process of self-studying, it's not actually self-studying. We usually sign up for some kind of course. We are guided by this course and we call it self-study. This is not self-study actually. Zoomers are more conscious about their feelings, but I think that's because they are more interested in psychology, because psychology is a huge development sphere. And a lot of people talk to their psychologists, they read books, and it helps them to know their values and understand their feelings better. Quite frequently, they choose to learn not something which can be applied in their future position probably, but something they like, something they want and interested in. and it can be quite far from their current position or future position.
The last point of tactical management is actually decision making. A manager has to make unpleasant decisions, strong decisions, decisions that half of the employees will adore and the other half will hate and detest in a very, very bad way. So how can we consider managing Gen Z when we are making decisions and these decisions are quite unpopular?
I think that with younger people, it's even easier. Because even if you have to fire half of your team, such actions will be taken easily for younger people, just because they have the whole life ahead. Yes, I think it's easier to explain to younger people what are your purposes, why you have to do this and that, and quite frequently they do understand. They probably don't like your decisions, but they do understand. They don't have these stereotypes and these ideas that they will stay in one company for like 10 years and they will be promoted in 2 years or 5 years. So they don't have all those misconceptions, which I think we have and previous generations have too.
We can talk about both company and managers. How can they ensure a Gen Z employee to stay for at least 3 years?
Taking in consideration general situation in the world, I don't think that the manager can promise even to themselves that they're going to stay in the company and at the same position for 3 years or more. But at the same time, as I mentioned, during the hiring process, you can ask the direct question and check their reaction. Because for some people, like 2 years, it's like the whole lifetime. This is too much, too long. They cannot even think about staying at the same position for like 2 years. Probably they are looking for a job for summer, or they want to enter the university next September. So I don't think that you can persuade someone to stay in the company for such a long time. What you can suggest as a manager is just being the best opportunity in this market. But sometimes it simply doesn't work. I worked in a company which, in my opinion, it was the best employer in St. Petersburg or probably in whole Russia. We had like everything, good salaries, good opportunities, all perks you can imagine, like everything, great office, everything was it was the top company, and we hired a lot because the company was growing like rapidly, and I had to expand the support team in a very short time. So from 30 people to 130, it was quite a hiring process. And of course, we didn't want to lose those people we hired. And we worked a lot with this turnover rate. But that particular guy left because the job prevented him from enjoying the summer. It was summertime. Of course, when I heard this, I was really shocked. But now, after like 5-6 years, I think that probably it made sense at that time, because he really was very young. He had a lot of opportunities in front of him, and he had the whole lifetime in the future. And now I understand him better. But at that time, I was really shocked. So yeah, sometimes you give everything to your employees and they still leave, but that's unpredictable, and you can never be sure in a particular person, regardless their age.
Can you please share any other, maybe shocking, unexpected moments you have had working with Gen Z? Maybe something funny, something shocking, something hilarious.
As a manager, of course, you need to be aware of the dates of release of like the latest seasons of their series, because in this day, a lot of people are likely to take a day off. And also, there is a funny case when people plan their holidays according to the concert list of their favorite band. So this is also quite interesting. But there are some positive things here too, because it's a well-known fact that they are unlikely to go to maternity or paternity leave in their early 20s. So for employers, that also might be a good thing. And I also came across this fact that a lot of companies, they suggest psychological help and psychologists as a perk for their employees. So it's not only about medical insurance anymore, it's also a psychological help for employees. It's quite a trend.
What specific lessons can we actually learn from them, both in work and in life?
We can learn how to use modern technology faster. And in general, the pace of life. When we have an idea, the best thing is to do something right now, because probably tomorrow that would be too late. Someone could realize your idea. Also, this idea of people-oriented economy, I think it's also connected to Gen Z, because we used to have like industrial economy when the main assets were like machines, plants, and some materials, probably some natural resources. Then we came to a digital economy when main assets were technology and knowledge and science, probably. And now I think we turn to be more people-oriented, because they think about communication, ideas, teamwork more, because everyone has access to technologies, everyone has access to industrial things, but the main asset, people become the main asset for the company. This idea of enjoying the life and enjoying our life even at work, and work-life balance, and taking care of yourself, and knowing your true feelings and true desire. That's also very, very important. And probably for people who are very ambitious and want to achieve their goals, it's worth to think about being happy and joyful at the same time during your climbing this ladder.
Anna, I couldn't be more grateful for your expertise and experience shared in this interview. Thank you very much for participating and for letting us know a little bit more about Gen Z, a very controversial but very happy generation at the same time.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.